Over here, like, great and great.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Michael.
I'm Sam.
And this is the Unbearable Truth Podcast. So we're back, regrouped, rested, feeling good. Today's topic is about health. And we wanted to build off of the question that someone asked us. Shout out my boy Max, thank you. It is, can you guys discuss some things that help stabilize the consistency of success, like diet or sleep and products we use? So, again, we're here to be real. We're here to be raw. We're here to talk about the things we can work on and the things that we've put work into to get to the position we are here. And we may be our worst critics or enemies, but obviously we're doing enough for people to think that we're some type of successful, to have consistency in something. So, there's wins in it all. What do you think about stabilizing consistency of success through like diet, sleep, supplementation?
Like how?
These are my notes.
I'm reading the question. I'm not looking at your notes. Well, I know that discipline and consistency is super important when it comes to that.
Stop reading my notes.
No, I wasn't reading that.
That was the next line. That was the next line on my notes. Stabilize the consistency of success, discipline. That's why I was like, no.
Okay, no, I did not read your note. And I read your notes. You had me read your notes earlier.
Yes.
But I don't even remember what the heck you wrote, to be honest with you.
Is that what you copied?
I know. I didn't even read that. I just remembered from what I was thinking when I read that second line or this question.
Okay, so we're both on the same boat then.
It's okay if we're on the same boat.
Right, that's good.
My answer doesn't have to be different from yours all the time. Vice versa. But it is true. It's very important.
Okay, so my next question is, what does discipline mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
It means...
I didn't write down a definition of discipline.
I am not looking at your notes. It's pretty hard for me to like say what it means to me. I don't know why. Like right now, I can't really think about what it would mean.
Well, discipline can mean anything to you. Don't overthink it. Like discipline, first thing that comes to my mind is military. Military. Those in the military are known to be disciplined because they have to be, right? So when I say discipline, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I guess I don't really think of it that way.
Well, answer my question. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay. It's going to work on time. And I think being disciplined and not being late, being on time consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And that pops up for me because I have had trouble with being on time to work. Being on time anywhere, honestly. I'm like late most of the time. But when I was working on that, everything just seems to flow so much better when you're showing up on time and you're not rushing and you're not being late to places. So, yeah, that pops up in my head.
Because I have right here, from the notes that I took, that we're both going off of, apparently. I put discipline, and then that leads into habits. And then the habits leads into consistency. Then the consistency leads into success. But success is not always guaranteed. So, for example, like just because you show up to work on time every day, just because you wake up, you meal prep, you're disciplined, doesn't mean you're not going to get fired.
Right.
Or laid off or transferred.
Right. It doesn't mean that other things aren't going to happen.
Exactly. So success, I guess the probability for a person to bounce back or segue into a better opportunity stems on a person's discipline, because one person's ex-employee is another person's employee of the month.
I feel like it depends on what the person's going through at the time.
Well, yeah, but a disciplined person, it doesn't matter what they're going through. They're disciplined. So hypothetically, I'm gonna choose the worst example possible, but a person can lose their whole entire family in a plane crash accident, but you could never know because their disciplined personality. They show up. They didn't break their diet. They show up to work every day. You would think, oh, like it's another Tuesday for Jeremy, but you don't know that he's going through a life-altering canon event in his timeline. But he's disciplined, so he just gets the job done. So that's the habit, is following through. In the terms of discipline, there is no emotion in discipline, because discipline doesn't always feel good. But winning or success or landing high in some type of test or whatever, that feels good. But that comes through discipline. You know, some people can just naturally end up there. But again, it's always work ethic over natural ability. Because if something were to happen to your family, the disciplined person is going to consistently show up and do a great job. Whereas the person who only uses their natural ability, they're not as disciplined with their emotional intelligence, hypothetically. So it's going to show in their work. So it almost always pays off just to show up to work a little earlier, to make your work environment tidier, to work a little harder. Yeah, those type of things always pay off. So that's going back into the question, which was some things that stabilize the consistency of success for us, because one thing that we have in common is we're both pretty on top of like our regimens when it comes to sleep, diet, like ourselves, our personal regimens. We're pretty, I guess, on our stuff when it comes to that. But again, all that is through habits. Like those are things that we've just kind of always done. So, but obviously there's a time in our life when we didn't.
We're used to that, I guess, lifestyle already. Even though I'm used to that lifestyle, I still have, it's not, like I said, it's not always going to be balanced. There's going to be like a dip. Sometimes I'm inconsistent, but you have to be careful and not let that ball keep rolling until it gets bigger and it just feels like uncontrollable, because it could get like that if you don't stop it right away.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be inconsistent here and there, but you need to remember that it can get very, it could get bigger, control. Like out of control, very quickly.
You know what's crazy is we always have discipline. And so, for example, if you're a disciplined person, you're always disciplined even when you're not. So I don't know who the guy was, or I'm just going to create my own school of thought with this. More of inspired thinking, not taking someone else's work. But how did it go? Like, if you're a person that makes excuses naturally, don't try to go against your nature and stop yourself from making excuses. Like, keep making excuses, but instead switch the narrative from negative excuses to positive excuses. So I was that person where I wasn't always fit, or I wasn't always like a hard worker. But I kind of had to work at it, just like everything. And then I lost my train of thought. So, making excuses. So I made excuses not to work out. I made excuses not to push myself. I made excuses to, just hand assignments in and not really give quality work. But the thing that changed in me is I didn't stop making excuses. I made excuses to do a good job. So instead of making excuses not to do push-ups, I made excuses to do push-ups.
Okay.
So instead of saying like, man, I'm not going to do these push-ups because I'm sore.
You just like switched it
I switched it, and I was like, well, you know what? If I do these push-ups, I'm going to be a little further ahead than if I didn't do these. So I made an excuse, but it was to push me towards it instead of push me away from it. You see what I mean? So for the same thing, like discipline, if you're a naturally disciplined person, like routine is natural to you, then when you're in the motion of things, you're gonna find it's easier. But you're gonna find it's also easy to be disciplined at being undisciplined. So you're really good at keeping yourself unstructured. You're very good at being disciplined on purposefully getting to things late, purposefully not getting your meals in or cutting off the restricted eating window that you're supposed to do. It's all about, don't go against the natural state of yourself. Go with it, right? So if you're a sensitive person, don't try to make yourself unsensitive. Find the strength in what makes you sensitive and why it's needed. Maybe you're an empathetic person. Maybe people like talking to you or opening up. So instead of going away from it and
think
being
of
like
it more of in a positive direction.
Exactly. Yeah. So and even going with that is something like pain, grabbing something that is normally seen as bad or negative and turning it into something good. Right? Like no pain, no gain, literally in the gym, or literally being consistent, or sometimes stabilizing success can be a little, it could be a little negative, I guess. It could be like burnout, or you could have a lot on your plate and it could be uncomfortable. But
and that's the first thing that you happen to run to.
Yeah.
Is being negative.
First thing you want to go to.
Already how you're feeling emotionally.
Exactly. I feel like. So it's like getting hungry, When you're getting hungry, who you truly are comes out right away. Boom. So if you're naturally a positive person, when you're hungry, the true version of you is going to come out. You're going to be a positive person. But you're just hungry now. But if you come out and you're negative, then maybe that was the natural state of where you're at right now. Is you're just happen to be negative, Because when you're hungry and things are going your way, who you really are comes out.
There's more agitation and being annoyed. All those things happen to come out. But sometimes, I worked on that to where I'm like, okay, breathe, take a step back. It's not that serious. Or just, like I always will say, is feel your emotions, but you don't need it to get so far.
Yeah.
To where you're really disrupting your own energy and everyone else's. You're going to drain yourself.
And that also helps stabilize consistency with success and all that as well. And I wrote freedom through discipline. So to a sense, we're all kind of looking for freedom, or a sense to live our days and to do things as we want. But ironically, discipline offers freedom. So for example, if you're on your diet and you're on like your training regimen very consistently and disciplined to a T, you can afford the day you don't eat good.
Yeah, it's not going to hit you as hard.
Exactly. Same thing if you count your coins and you're very smart with your money and you're not splurging, that day you want to buy something, or that rainy day, it's not going to hit you as hard, right? It's that discipline. But it sucks in the beginning because we want that instant gratification right away. We want to splurge. We want those things in the moment. But when that rainy day hits us, or when we don't have discipline to fall back on, then life sucks in the moment, right?
It hits even harder.
Exactly. So same thing with illness in the body. If you're healthy most of the time, and that one time in life where you're not healthy and you get very sick, you fall back on your discipline. You fall back on your body's ability to fight off viruses because you built up a strong immune system. It's about setting ourselves up for success. And at the bottom right here, I wrote down, which this is one of my biggest indicators to answer the question of stabilizing the consistency of success, is what is your reason why? Why are you doing it? Like anything, why? Why are you doing it? A person who doesn't have a reason bigger than themselves often quits. People that have a reason bigger than themselves usually find a reason to keep going. So if you were to have kids right now and you had goals that not only relied on you and your well-being, but also your family now, you wouldn't quit as soon. You would maybe stick it out a little longer because your reason to stick it out longer is further outside of you.
That could be bad or good though too.
Literally.
So you have to be careful with that. Because you could stick with something just because, you have that family and let's say you're unhappy. But if you're unhappy,
that's why I said like following your dream though.
Oh well, yeah.
Like,
but I'm just saying,
following
like sometimes that can be bad.
That's construct. No, like let's negate the bad though, because it's obvious that anything can be bad or good. Like a gun, right? If I were to hand you a gun, I'm not going to be afraid of you because I know it's the person behind the gun, not the gun itself, right? Like I know I'm not going to give you a gun and you're going to shoot me, right? So it's that same sense. Whereas it's the intention's a little different, right? You have to look at it in a positive light. So
of course, but you have to be careful. Like,
always,
there's just some people don't realize it because you get caught up.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
it's important to realize.
That's true. But again, remember how I said in the beginning or not too long ago about don't worry about the state of your being. Don't try to change your state. Try to change in a direction or how you're using it. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're making excuses or you're a person that's making excuses to stay in that environment, that's fine. Make excuses to leave that environment. Make excuses to go towards your bigger goals. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to use my drinks. I don't know if you can see them, but the water is your pure goal. It's what you really want to do in life. Mm-hmm. It's the most fulfilling thing you can do. Some people, it's just to be like a veterinarian or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. These are arm length, more achievable goals, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times these seem so unrealistic and far away because they're out of arm's reach. Yeah, settling for this right here. I don't know, we're both gassy. It's weird. Settling for this right here. You just burped earlier.
Okay,
you tried to hide it. You got to clip that. She burped. But anyways, going back to my example. This is the bigger goal. This is the shorter term goal, mm-hmm. right? The only difference between here is discipline and consistency. But again, it sucks. It's hard. It doesn't feel good. But getting to this position beats literally settling for here. The whole entire quality of life is going to be different. Here you can travel when you can. Here you can travel when you want to. Type stuff. It's just a different way of living, but we need to sacrifice our way of life in the moment. So sacrifice our way of life to achieve the life that we want to live. But easier said than done, especially in the world where on paper, the more things you have equals the more qualified you are as a person. But in my opinion, if I'm hiring somebody, I want to look at someone's ability to adapt, someone's discipline, dedication, and commitment. You know, those are the first things I'm looking for instead of resume. Because a person can go through school their whole life and not be a good worker. They're just good at handing assignments in. And you have a person who was too busy living real life that didn't hand any assignments in, but they can show up every day, even when
they have those qualities.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's a person you're going to give more responsibility to in the terms of, working and stuff. But some right here in the beginning, because again, there's always like a training element or a building up to something. Mm-hmm. And so what helped me, then you could talk about yours, is what helped me stabilize consistency to see some type of success. For me, it starts with mental training. So if you can jog 10 miles, but when life gets hard, you fall back or you crash out, it's like a very fast car that breaks down after a mile. It's really cool for the mile, but it's going to break down. So what's the point? You got to walk anyways, right? Mm-hmm. So it's about the mental training when it comes to people, so we can keep going. And what helped me is I put jogging is cardio, doing something I hate, which is jogging, because jogging is a mental thing more than anything. Because when you're going, you feel your heart rate, and then you feel your legs get heavy, and you hear the voices that tell you want to stop. When you have the ability, or when you push yourself to keep going despite all those things, it builds this type of discipline and mental toughness to life in general. The next one I have is calisthenics, which is just waking up and doing some push-ups. or waking up and just asserting dominance on yourself. Like you can be super easy with your body and baby yourself, but when it comes to your mind, you need to push yourself harder than anything or anyone. As soon as you wake up, that first little 5 to 10 minute workout should be one of the hardest things you do for the day. So the rest of the day is easy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if the first thing you do when you wake up, you do the hardest thing possible, whatever attacks you or whatever comes your way throughout the day is so much that it's that much easier to manage. So if you 100 push-ups doesn't sound like a lot to someone who could do 100, but someone who can't do 20, 100 sounds like a lot, right? But that would be the hardest thing you do that day, that whole day. That's the hardest thing you did, and your day just started.
I never really thought about. Go ahead, keep going.
So not just help me. Again, I'm talking about my personal experiences.
But it's really interesting because we definitely go about certain things differently. Obviously, that's anyone. Like not everything. Like I never would have thought. Not that I never would have thought about it, but I didn't ever think about doing that or going towards that to do something to change something about my day or like to make me feel better or like how you were saying that's one of the hardest things that you're going to do first before your day starts. I'm just saying I just go about my day differently, but I'll say how
after.
Yeah. Okay. I just had like a little
that's good.
Side comment.
Thank you for sharing. The next one I put is reading books. So you want something that's going to challenge you mentally, something that's going to challenge you spiritually, and then something that's going to challenge you mentally. So physically, it's like the mind, body, and the spirit.
Right.
So challenge yourself spiritually by praying. And a person starts by praying is literally just sound off things in your head that you're grateful for. It can be super easy. I want the one thing that everyone should be grateful for, no matter what you believe in, is grateful I woke up this morning. Grateful I'm alive. Grateful I have something to be upset about. If you can't find anything positive, I'm grateful for having a lot of problems.
I'm grateful for feeling my emotions.
I'm grateful for having something to feel. I'm grateful for only people who feel can feel pain. I'm grateful for pain, because not everything lasts forever. The good things never last forever. The bad things never last forever. So start spiritually training yourself by at any moment you can name off the things you're grateful for. Next one is read a book. Discipline your minds to focus and to recite words and to challenge your ability to form pictures, placing things in your mind. And then, of course, the calisthenics, the training aspect. If a person can do those things in the first 3 hours of their day, the rest of the day is a breeze. It's actually enjoyable. Yeah, the next one is some type of, I put like martial arts. I think everyone should do some type of martial arts training, not to hurt people, but there's a lot of breathing technique. There's a lot of movement that goes along with it that helps a lot with discipline, consistency, training, understanding the importance of like the mind, the body, and soul as a weapon. And know because if you know how dangerous, again, I hate to keep talking about guns or whatever, but it's the metaphor. Like a trained soldier doesn't fear a gun because they know how to use it. They know there's a safety on it. They know not to point it at anybody. It's not something to threaten someone with.
I feel like that is something that we all need to work on because our body is our own weapon and we need to know how to use that.
Our mind as well.
In our mind, yeah.
The mind, the greatest threat in this entire world is the human mind. The mind's ability to create things and destroy things is more dangerous than any wild animal with fangs and claws. So it's taking account of your weapons. There's various aspects of our personalities, and the more we dive into ourselves and explore the different parts of who we are, the more we can, I guess, appease to those certain aspects of our personality. So, for example, I'm not changing who I am, but there's a very lighthearted version of myself who likes to joke around and who likes to have fun and stuff. And there's another version of myself that is more serious. Is much more about breaking boundaries and pushing myself and finding ways to be self motivated. Mm-hmm. Where it's more aggression. One's more like it's like the yin and yang. You know, one's more is like it's the unstoppable force in an immovable object. Like it's being both things, not just one. You know, but knowing there's a time and a place to be that version of myself. That's why the gym is so important to me, is because for me personally, if I don't train myself in some way, I just get aggressive. Like I just feel aggressive. I get aggression, and I kind of need to burn it out some way. If not, it builds up. Like everyone's different. I just think it's like some people it builds up differently. Some people it's anxiety. Some people it builds up it builds up uneasiness. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not always aggression. It could be sadness for some people. It could be whatever, but it's about transmuting that emotion into movement and having some type of movement. And all that together, you know, I said a lot, but to me that really helps stabilize the consistency of success. It all plays together and having a balance and it all and really finding what works for you as an individual and as a person.
Get creative, like just see, you know, what you don't like, what you do like.
Yeah. Like I don't like sweet potato. But you do. Right? So why would I make sweet potato for dinner? But it's like nothing stopping you from making it, right? It's just I know what I like.
What it's good for.
And you know what you like. So we're gonna do what works for us. But you sharing your sweet potato recipe with me can change the way I look at sweet potato.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
Like one of the things like that popped up is like music. Oh yeah. Definitely giving yourself, you could be doing anything, but upbeat music, you know, like feeling that is a thing. Bad energy and good energy. Listening to music that's gonna fill you with good energy. It could be, I don't know, like for me, it's country and Christian country.
Oh, okay.
It could be like, what is it? Oh my gosh, what is it called? It's not motivational. It's like yoga. Sometimes if I want to feel relaxed, more like
the frequencies and stuff like that. Yeah.
But most of the time it's like country and Christian music. Mm-hmm. It's a different feeling. And then I know half of the people don't like, there's a lot of people that don't like country, and they're probably like, yeah, I'm not about to listen to some country music.
I'm not a big fan of country either, to be honest.
But that's just what helps me. And sometimes, like, I don't know if other people have felt this or if you have felt this, but if you can just feel how deep emotionally, like when you're singing and like the song just hits you. And it could be, for me, it could be any song. And that's how I know I need it in the moment. Mm-hmm. Because I'll just start crying out of nowhere. It's like your body, it's like, it gives you these, what is it, serotonin?
Yeah, like those hormones.
Those happy hormones. So I definitely think singing and like enjoying some songs that are going to uplift you is definitely important. And you should definitely consider if you don't. I'm like, Jesus. What? My mind keeps going this way because I have other things to say, but that's definitely important for our health is music. And I know that because of, can't say too much, but my school, I learned that in my school.
And so let's say like, if you want to use music, what are some ways that you stabilize the consistency of success?
Through like music?
In general. So the
Well,
original question was
that was one of the ones
like
that
diet or sleep and products. Like you use health products as well to help you stay balanced. You talk about
stay
balance a lot, you know. So
I
tell
know that
people about
I
that.
know that it's important with nutrition. I mean, I know it's hard and people don't like to listen to about it. That's why I don't really talk about it too much. Because it's like, oh, okay, let's skip to the next part. Because I feel like most of us already know what we need to do. And it's just like
sometimes just talking about the benefits is enough. Like for example, like you gotta dress it up a little differently.
So you have to, like, for example, anxiety, right? We think, I mean, sometimes it's not all about nutrition. Sometimes you have to look at what's happening around you, why you're feeling that way, depression, anxiety, whatever mental health problem that's going on. But like I said before, what can make it worse are the things that you are consuming, that or what you're lacking, deficiencies. Let's say potassium deficiency, iron, you're anemic. What other one? Like I need like minerals, calcium, like that.
So making sure you're on your diet helps you stabilize the consistency of success.
Oh, for sure. Because if you're not well, how do you think you're going to end up like successful in in anything that you're trying to achieve?
Yeah. Health is wealth,
It's just gonna bring, like, how can I say it? It's gonna be just so much harder to get there, to get to that point. And like I said in one, I can't remember the third podcast. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought.
Take your time.
Oh, like I felt like I was drowning.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying my best to get to where I need to be, but I just couldn't. Like I just felt like I was going deeper and deeper in the water, and until I realized that I needed to fix what I was like eating, because I wasn't eating the best. And I know I wasn't. I was eating like a lot of sugar and processed foods, which I never did, ever. But for some reason, I had like a little cookie here. Then it started, like I said, you have to be careful with that ball that just keeps going, because if you don't stop it, it's going to keep going until what? You feel like you're drowning. And that was me.
Yeah.
So yes, it's definitely important to focus on your nutrition, because then you're just not feeling great.
Like literally the inside and the outside.
Exactly.
For all those things. Like some products I put here.
And being active. Being active is huge. Because that also is going to help you with your anxiety and your depression, or you have to keep moving.
Yeah.
You have to stay active. And you don't even have to go to the gym. If you have kids, play with your kids. What do? They love to run. They love to play. Yeah. If you have a dog, walk your dog. And, like, they need to stay active. Wash, I don't know, like, go wash your clothes. Like, you could do anything productive in your house and break a sweat. Go, like, plant some flowers, or it could be any little thing.
Like what I like to say is just have fun with it too. Like have fun with the research involved in this. Have fun with your movement. Have just find a way to have fun. Like they say, it's about like whistling while we work, right?
Right.
It's about finding enjoyment in the monotonous. If you take the same way to work every day, find a different way to look at the tree. Find a different way to look at your route. Like just use your imagination to spice up what is boring, or what seems boring. And that also makes life much more enjoyable in general. And what was I going to say? But having fun with it is, yeah, just have fun doing research. here I have some supplements that I'm not like a dietitian or anything, but I've worked at GNC and I don't know the qualifications from there very well of how qualified I am. But again, some type of protein powder, a an isolate, so it's easier on your digestive system.
And again, some like these are just recommendations, but you have to make sure that you are even able to take
do your own research for everything. Like everyone should do their own research.
And that's the thing, like just because you see things even on the internet that are good, that they may look good, sometimes they're not good for you.
For you, yeah.
It could be good for someone else, but not for you for any reason.
Yeah.
Like me, I can't take protein powders. I can't. Before I was able to, I thought I was able to, but I had a lot of problems. And so now I definitely can't take it.
Yeah. So if you can't, don't. But some staples for the average person who has no sensitivities or health problems would be a protein powder to get that protein requirement for the day, a multivitamin, a fish oil, a probiotic, some maca root, 100% cacao powder, sea moss, and stay away from anything processed or limit the intake of processed goods in general. Those few supplements alone will change just the overall quality of a person's life. Just from getting, when we realize, like going off of Sam's point, is when we're deficient and then we're finally getting the adequate amount of vitamins, minerals, and macronutrients, macronutrients. It's just you feel happier. You feel like you can start running up the stairs. You feel like you could
achieve anything, literally.
Yeah. So
it's an amazing feeling. Like I said, I posted it on my Instagram, and I said that it feels like you're walking on clouds. That's literally how I felt.
And who wouldn't want to walk on clouds?
I was like, I feel like I can run for, I don't know. I just felt like I was able to run for a very long time, but yeah. And I have to put it out there that multivitamin is good, but you have to go get blood tested, go see what you're really deficient in, because sometimes when we're taking these vitamins and we don't know what we're deficient in, we're taking things that our body it doesn't even need, and it's causing more harm than anything. So you really have to make sure that you even need that certain supplement. So
I agree. And like when I worked at GNC, we would just consider a multivitamin like an insurance policy for our health, especially because food these days are shockingly being made and produced with less and less nutritional value. Even fruit themselves these days, due to the quality of the soil. I invite anyone to just do their own research. Again, everything that we talk about is through experience and through educated viewpoints. But again, this is all about conversations. And I'm on the other side where I recommend a multivitamin just because a person can be getting their intake, and there's like someone screaming outside. They so you can be eating a diet of all the type of foods that you need to eat, but still not be getting that nutritional value just because of the way food's being produced. So having a multivitamin, again, is just a insurance policy. And the way the body works is, unless you're getting an over amount of something that's poisonous to you, your body just filters it out.
If you're balanced, it does.
Yeah. Which again, all these supplements and all these things we talked about will help your body get balanced. So again, don't fear trying anything new, because what doesn't work for her, what doesn't work for me, could work for you, and vice versa. So that's why the whole entire point of having conversations in general
is just to see what
it's important.
Will work.
It's the exchange, because it's the exchange of eyes right now, but it's the lack of, again, nutritional value in our conversation. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of words, but not enough being said that is actually meaningful or has a lot of value. So again, it's like she's right. It's about what we consume in more ways than one. And we're about a little over our 30-minute mark, so we'll wrap it up there.
I was like, I'm so blind, I can't even see.
So while we go get Sam some glasses,
you're so corny.
we'll get ready. More interesting topics to talk about. She's been wanting to go live, but I think for the 3 people that are going to show up, it'd be pretty exciting. But we're finding ways to save it, and so that we can still post that video and possibly go live at the same time. I
really want to talk to you guys live, so I'm like, let's go live.
So we'll figure something out. But until next time, we'll see you guys.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, listen to the pretty girl. Don't make her have a bad day. Do it.
You're so.
But thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.